Manifestation Pod. We are Louise and Sam, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives through friendship, self-improvement, manifestation, the law of attraction, and a little bit of the magic. We look forward to you joining us on our fortnightly podcast.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I don't know why I was so high-pitched, and it isn't even morning, it's afternoon. It's 3:15, it's Sunday, and you are listening to the Manifestation Pod with me, Louise, and Sam, who is full of a cold today. How are you, Sam?
I'm all right. I'm fair to middling. Yes, I will apologise now for cold-type noises. But I've spent all day resting, so, I figure I can talk for half an hour.
Yeah, that's good. So we're up to episode 25, and it is our birthday episode. So that's really nice. So we've been doing the pod for a year today, which is, wow. Who knew that would last that long?
Crazy, eh? 25 episodes and 1 year.
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
It really is. I can't believe it's been, in some respects, it feels like it's been longer than that, but then it feels like it's not been a year either.
I know. And we set off doing like one every other week, didn't we? But we failed to keep up with that miserably at the beginning, didn't we?
Yeah, we definitely did. It took us a good few weeks to get into a kind of pattern with it. And then so we were supposed to do, well, we should have done 26, shouldn't we, at the end of the first year, if we'd stuck to our pattern of fortnightly. So we were behind, but then now we're doing it weekly, so we kind of caught up to where we should have been anyway, so it's all good.
That's good, isn't it, to think about it like that? I can't believe we're managing weekly. Like, doing really well.
Yeah. It's all a bit hit and miss with the dates we record, but yeah, we're doing it, aren't we?
Yeah, so we're going to do a little review of the year and what the pod has brought us over this year.
Yeah, we'll do that. Do you want to do a little catch up first? I mean, it'll be very quick because I've done absolutely nothing this week. But my week started, had a migraine Monday, and well, I don't know whether it was a migraine or it was just a menstrual headache. But either way, I was out of action for 2 days, which was quite annoying. And then Charlotte was at Young Voices in Manchester at the Arena Tuesday night. Thank God my head stopped hurting before I went there because that was very loud. 8,000 kids singing. It was amazing, but loud. So yeah, that was it. And yeah, I've had a really, really quiet week this week. A good week. I'm feeling good, but pretty quiet. I've been and sorted out my kitchen this morning. The kitchen has been signed off. We know what we're getting.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the plans to come through, which will be here on Wednesday. And then I think we're pretty much good to go then. So I don't think I'm going to get it done yet. I want it done after Charlotte's birthday, which is the beginning of April. I don't want my house upside down before then. So, yeah, that's it. That's all my news.
That's mega exciting, though, that you're moving on to the kitchen.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much you really want it done. So, congratulations on designing it.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple, really, the design. It's just a U-shaped kitchen, but the hob broke on Christmas Day, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 cupboards that I can't use. So I'm getting to the point now. I can't wait any longer. This isn't about, it would be nice to have a new kitchen. It's just a tip. I've got no drawers, so I've just got all my stuff on the side. It's fine. It is what it is, but it'll be so nice just having a nice clean kitchen that's just mine and hasn't belonged to anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Have you gone with IKEA again?
Yes, I have. So I've got the same planner as before, Chelsea, who I actually put a compliment in about last time because she was amazing. And she's been amazing again this time. So, yeah, I've gone with IKEA again. Not sure whether they're going to do the fitting of it. We're still in discussions about that. I might get my own fitter this time. I'm not sure. But, yeah, we're done anyway. We're boxed off, so that's good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, nice.
What about you? How long have you had your cold for?
Only started last night actually. So
All right, okay.
Still got to enjoy my Saturday. Yeah, I've had a good week. Had an unexpected manifestation of some free office furniture this week.
Ooh.
It's most welcome. Yeah, so it's for the charity really, because I need storage for all the charity stuff, which just seems to be growing by the day. It's actually taking over my house, so the main thing was to get some storage, but they were giving away desks and everything. So I've got this giant desk. I must send you a picture. I'm so made up with my little setup in here now. I've just got so much space and everything's got a place. So that's really cheered me up this week.
Yeah, it makes a difference when you're working, doesn't it? That you've got space to move around.
Yeah, and my podcast microphone has got a permanent home, so it's not just balancing on a rickety chair all the rest of the time. I can just sit down and it's there ready. So that's really good. So yeah, that's been good. And yeah, the manifestation vibes have still been flowing this week. I went to a shamanic drumming workshop yesterday.
Oh,
which was amazing, different. Never been to anything like that before. But
I think you need to explain what that is, because even I'm not sure.
Well, I didn't know before I went. So shamanic practice is an ancient practice of healing and traveling to other worlds, basically through sound of drums and other things. So basically, it was a bit of a workshop to learn about that, and then they take you on journeys with the drum, where you basically lie down or sit down, and they play the drum, and you journey to another world while they're doing it.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty special. The first bit, they talk you through a way to find your power animal in the other world and ask it for a message. So I did that, and my power animal is a white wolf called Clara.
Wow, that's very specific.
I know, it was very specific. And then on the second journey, they take you to, so you find your power animal in the lower world. Earth is the middle world, and then you go to the lower world for your power animal. You go to the upper world to meet your guides and get messages and stuff. So that was the second one. So that was really interesting. So yeah, just a really interesting day.
Yeah, it sounds like. Where was it?
Altrincham Spiritual Church.
Oh, okay.
I've been to before, but it was really nice actually. I love the little place and loads of lovely people. Lots of people that were mediums, so that was interesting because I don't think I've been around so many mediums, and they were all talking about energy and stuff like that. So it was just not your average Saturday with not your average people, but really enjoyable.
And did you feel the energy?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, the first bit where I met the power animal, I felt it more than the second bit. Yeah, it was just weird. It was obviously a bit like a meditation, but because they're playing the drums, you're not guided by anyone. You're just in your own little world. So yeah, you're just not really sure where it'll take you. And because I meditate and stuff a lot anyway, I think I can quite quickly sort of sink in to something like that. So it was just really interesting. I think I'm still processing everything that happened.
Yeah.
But I think it's made me want to get a drum or make my own drum, because it was really powerful. The sound of it was incredibly powerful.
That's fab. Love it. Oh, you find interesting things to do with your Saturdays, don't you?
I know, I was thinking that. Yeah, it's just sort of happened the last 2 Saturdays. I've done these interesting things, and yeah, I think I need to do more of them. I think the stuff I'm manifesting and the meditations I'm doing lately are telling me to do more things like this, because it's really given me some clarity and answers, and something fun happened when I was there yesterday. So I came out and checked my phone, and I'd earned like 135 quid for the business while I wasn't even doing anything, or I'd not put any adverts out or anything. I'd have like 2 block bookings and quite a few bookings for that other workshop I'm doing for International Women's Day. And I was like, well, if that's not a sign that I need to do more stuff like this, I don't know what is. I think that's the best like income day I've had.
Cool. That's really good.
Yeah, an interesting week.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, ready for a rest today. I'm not surprised I've come down with a cold. Everyone seems to have germs at the moment. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around. I think we got all ours before Christmas. I was ill constantly, it felt like, but yeah, I've been pretty good, touch wood, this year.
Good. Are you going into half term now as well?
Yeah, this week. So we were supposed to go roller skating yesterday, and I didn't check that it was on until we were due to leave, and it wasn't on. And it was like 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon, and Charlotte was going to her dad's at 5, and I was like, oh crap, what are we going to do now? So we did some decoupage and some felting, and we sat at the kitchen table with the heating on and did some crafts. That was quite nice.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's good.
Yeah. I felt like I needed to pull something out of the bag for being such a crap mum, because Charlotte actually said at one point, she was like, this is the most boring Saturday we've ever had. And I said, I know, but we did boring stuff in the morning because I thought we'd be out roller skating in the afternoon. And yeah, it didn't pan out that way. Yeah, anyway. Well, we are where we are.
Yeah, crafting's always good, isn't it? Always.
Yeah, it was nice. It was quite relaxing.
Oh, good. So 1 year of pod.
I know.
What are our highlights then? What have we learned? What have we done?
So I think, I want to say I've grown, and that just sounds so twatty. I can't think of a better word. Yeah, but I do think me and you have both said it feels very like therapy. I was talking to Kat in work about this as well, and she said the same as a listener. It feels quite therapeutic, which was good.
That's nice feedback.
Yeah, she does give nice feedback. She's quite behind at the moment with the episode. She's about 3 or 4 behind. And I said to her, our stats are actually quite low, and I do hold you personally responsible to start listening. But yeah, she was very complimentary. She always has been. She's been quite a big supporter throughout. But I do feel like it's therapy for us as well. And I think for me, I don't know, we could talk about all the things we've done, like, I don't know, reading books on things and exploring the thing you've just done, shamanic drumming, all the things like that that are very tangible we could talk about. But I think for me, I'm just learning so much more about myself, and I'm pushing myself constantly. So we've talked about this off the pod, but I think I'm going to talk about it on the pod because I'm in the mood now, and I've not been so far. But I've been kind of working on myself last year to be the best version of myself that I can be. And I think I'm kind of there in terms of I'm still learning and growing, and there's still things I need to do, but I think the basics are there, and I just need to build on that now. And I feel quite happy with who I am. And I feel quite content with who I am and where I am in life. So that's all good. But then there's things that I've not been happy with, that I've not wanted to explore because they're too emotional and they're too deep. So one of the things which I spoke to you about, and I'm going to start laughing when I say this, but forever, I don't like the way I talk. And doing a pod has really kind of made that more noticeable for me. And I feel like now is the time I need to do something about it. So I spoke to you about this. So just for some context, I've never talked to anyone about this in my entire life, ever. It's been too deep, too personal, just a box, a Pandora's box that I've never, ever wanted to open. It's just niggled at the back of my mind for a long time that I'm not happy with it. But I've never either wanted to confront it, known what to do about it. I've just left it. So that's where I've been. And then the more I've been thinking about it, and I think it's come to a head really because I'm seeing myself on video constantly. And I feel like when we did the Lisa Sykes pod, and she was kind of saying I was putting a block on myself. I do wonder if some of that comes from that space that I'm in, that I am putting a block on myself and I'm not doing some of the things that I want to do or would help me in a business world, because I feel I don't want to put myself out there that much because of this whole I don't like the way I talk. So with that in mind, I thought I'd get some feedback from friends before I kind of proceeded any further. So I had what started as a really uncomfortable conversation with, and for the life of me, I can't remember who the first person I was I spoke to about it.
I think it was Ryan, wasn't it?
No, there was someone before Ryan, and it was female. It must have been Kerry. I must ask her. Anyway, had a conversation with someone, one of my friends, and the fact that this is such a big deal to me, and I can't remember who I had the first conversation with, kind of shows how much I've grown in that it's not as big a deal anymore, because I've actually had a conversation with someone. I can't remember it, but I had a conversation with someone. No, it wasn't. It was Amy. I had a conversation with Amy, and I said, I did it on the phone. I picked my moment and I said, I don't like the way I talk. I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
I've contacted like a speech therapist and I've had the conversation with her and I'm going to make an appointment. And Amy just said, like, there's nothing wrong with the way you talk. I don't really know what you're talking about. And that was not the reaction I expected.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting a reaction of, oh, yeah, I've noticed that, but, you know, you're my friend, da-da-da. But no, she was like, what are you talking about, Lou? And I went, well, I don't like the way I talk. I don't like my speech pattern. And she was just, I really don't know what you're talking about. So I recorded a video and sent it to her. And on this video, I mean, I'm super self-critical as well. Everyone thinks I'm dead confident because I come off as really confident and I act really confident. But I'm not about this. I'm not about a lot of things. It's that whole hiding it well. I hide it really well. So I sent her a video and I watched this video. It's excruciating watching myself, honestly. And I watched it and I thought, right, she's going to see it. And she's going to say, oh, yeah, I get what you mean now. Yeah, you know, if you're not happy, you should get help. Because that's what we say to our friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not happy, you should get help. It doesn't matter what I think. So I sent her the video. And she didn't reply for about an hour. And I was like, oh my God, please reply. Don't do this to me. I've just bared my soul to you and you're not replying. And I was thinking she's probably sat there talking to Si, her husband, who also knows me, going, oh, I don't know what to say to Louise now. I feel bad and da-da-da. I ended up messaging her or ringing her. And I was like, why have you not come back to me? Why are you leaving me hanging? And she was like, oh yeah, sorry, but the kids were here. And let me just watch it and I'll come. She's not even watched it. So she watched it and then she came back to me and she was like, Louise, honestly, I actually think there's something wrong in your head now that you're seeing this, because there's nothing there. I actually thought you came off as quite confident. And I was like, it's not about how I come off or the context of what I'm saying or the content of what I'm saying. It's about how I look. And she was like, you look fine. And so I thought, right, okay, let's move on to the next person. Amy didn't get it. And Amy said as well, like, not only have we been friends, but we've worked together. We've worked together now. We've worked together at a previous place. She said, I've known you for a long time. There's nothing there. So I was like, right, okay. So that was the end of that conversation. But I just thought, you've clearly just not noticed it. So I rang Ryan. This was like a few days later. And I had the same conversation with Ryan. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Ryan actually said, if you've booked a therapy appointment, I think you should change it from a speech therapist to a psychiatrist, because there's something wrong with your head that you think this thing that exists is even there, because it isn't. There's nothing there. And I was like, but there is. I'm not making it up. I'm not inventing this thing that is there. I'm not inventing a problem that isn't there. And then I felt a little bit like a bit narcissistic that people have real problems and I'm actually making a problem up. Anyway, Ryan said the same. And then I spoke to you and you were like, and I have spoken to you before about it years ago, and we were both drunk. And I think we were having a conversation about whatever, and it was the right time to broach it.
Yeah.
And you were just like, no, I've never noticed anything. And I just put that down to the fact at the time I'd not known you that long, which probably made it easier having that conversation with you, and the fact we were drunk. And I just thought, one, you're either pissed, or two, you don't know me well enough to have that conversation with me and you feel uncomfortable. So you're just like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That's three of my friends who I have good relationships with who are all like, no, don't know what you mean. So now I'm like, shit, is this thing that I've been worrying about for years not even there?
Yeah. I mean, I feel really bad that you told me and I don't even remember now. It's like the worst thing for me.
But that's not a bad thing, because if you don't remember it, then maybe it isn't a thing. Like you said about the meatballs.
Yeah.
Maybe if someone's, because I don't remember the conversation about the meatballs. Why would I? It was so insignificant.
Yeah.
You said, oh, I think people think this. And I was like, no. And that was it.
Yeah.
Never thought about it again. Which proves it wasn't a thing. So maybe this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Anyway, so the person that I'm due to see, the professional, because I still feel like I want a professional to say it.
Yeah.
And I might believe it then. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. But this is such a, I mean, in this case, I suppose you could call it a self-limiting belief, even though I don't believe it's a self-limiting belief. I believe it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, I don't know if I ever told you about when I had Charlotte, but when I did a pregnancy test, I didn't believe, I read the positive as a negative because I was absolutely convinced I wasn't pregnant. So when that 2 lines came up, I was like, oh yeah, 2 lines, that means not pregnant.
Yeah.
And Henry was literally, Louise, read what it says. It says 2 lines and you are pregnant. I was like, no, it says 1 line means the test is working and 1 line means it's not you're not pregnant. And I genuinely believed that because I thought there was no way in a million years I could be pregnant. And this feels a very similar thing. We believe what are absolutely built in us. I believed I would never ever get pregnant. I believed that with every ounce of my being, just the same as I believe with every ounce of my being that I don't like the way I speak and there's something wrong with it and it's different to most people.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So if someone turns around and goes, no, there's nothing there, that's like, whoa, that's the biggest thing I've ever had in my life that proves it's mind over matter.
Yeah. And do you think then that, like, it's really the pod that's like forced you to really look at this?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the pod, the very fact that me and you sit opposite each other now every week for an hour talking, and I'm looking at a camera with myself on it. I mean, no one enjoys that, do they? But I think I see myself more, so I'm more conscious of it. And because I'm more conscious of it, whereas before I could just pretty much ignore it, just don't look in mirrors when you're talking. So I think there's that. And I think there's the fact that we delve so deep into everything about ourselves. We strip ourselves bare on this pod and talk about really deep things. And the one thing that made me want to explore this was when you said on the pod, and I nearly had this conversation then, and it was only because you said it towards the end of the pod that I thought, we ain't got time for this today, was when you talked about how you want to make yourself feel small. Because you bared your soul on here about something that was so utterly personal to you that you don't talk about, then that kind of gave me confidence to do the same thing, because this is absolutely my thing, that I feel embarrassed, humiliated. I've had all those feelings about this particular thing my whole life, like since I was a kid. And if that turns out to be nothing, then I think that will, if it turns out to be something, then I'm going to fix it. And that will be an achievement in itself. And if it turns out to be nothing, then I think what I learned from that is that mind over matter, your belief system is more important than the reality. And I think if I really dig down on that, that means that what I've said for years, that you can achieve the impossible, is actually true. And it means I can. So my next step would be to go, oh my God, what can I do in life? Because I can actually do whatever I want with no boundaries, no barriers, no ceiling.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself will be powerful. I don't know where this journey will end, but if it does transpire, it'll just be the funniest thing ever if it transpires that this thing is non-existent.
Yeah.
And that is the power of your mind.
I think it's super brave, and I think this is what the pod forces us into. Like that episode where I shared that, it's not like I'd planned to say that or even thought that it would come up. Or it's not even a conversation that you and I had before. But this is where the pod takes you to, doesn't it? Because we're talking about subjects that are important. We're keeping it real, and it just takes you there, doesn't it?
It does. And I think that's because we explore these topics. And I think also, like for me, and I don't know if you're the same, but all this deeply personal stuff, I don't want to talk about to you when we're out having a good time with the kids or we're out having a good time, just me and you. I don't want to bring the vibe down by going, and how do you voice that? How do you actually say that? How do you say, actually, for, 40 years, this has been it feels like a deep, dark secret. But in my mind, it's never been a secret because it's clearly out there for people to see. But yeah, it's my biggest thing. I've never talked about it with anybody. The thought of talking about it used to make me want to cry. So as soon as it came into my head, I'd just go, "Oh my God, like literally fuck that." I'm never talking about that with anyone because it makes me feel like shit. It makes me feel someone who I am not. The person that little girl that had no confidence whatsoever was quite scared of a lot of things before I started, channeling Demi Moore, before I started going, I'm not going to be this person anymore. I'm going to be this confident person. That was a conscious decision I made at a certain age, not to be this. I don't know, that inner child, I suppose, was a very sad little girl. She was unhappy. And I didn't like my name. I changed my name when I was an adult. I changed my bloody life. I reinvented myself as an adult. But even that, and I said this to you, and when I think about this now, this probably could reduce me to tears. But that little girl that was so paranoid about how she spoke and had a name, a Christian name, that nobody could bloody say, pronounce, or had heard of. So every time someone said, "What's your name?" which happens quite a lot in your life, I was this stuttering little girl who thought, I don't want to say my name and I don't want to talk because I don't speak like everybody else. I hated it. So I'd naturally say it really quietly. And that person would go, "Come on, speak up. What did you say?" And that tone would make me shrink into myself. Even my body language now, talking about it, I feel like just what you said, making myself as small as possible, because that's how I felt, just this small person with no confidence, this tiny little girl who just had absolutely no confidence in speaking, in speech.
Yeah. And it's like I feel like a different person since starting the pod. And now that we're talking about it like this, it's kind of like we did the scariest thing by starting this. It absolutely terrified the hell out of both of us.
Yeah.
And from like really stretching us, like all this crazy stuff comes out of it like this that you get to work on that you just would never ever have expected.
Exactly. And I just swept it under the carpet. And because I am quite confident, I just go, I'm not thinking about that. I don't need to think about that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But actually, it's something that's always irritated me. It's a bit like when I had a big nose. I've had a nose job. It was something that it didn't get me down. I didn't cry in bed going, "Oh my God, I'm so ugly. I've got a big nose." I liked how I looked. I just didn't like having a big nose particularly. And the minute that I had a nose job, I wasn't like, "Oh my God, I'm gorgeous." It was just, "Oh, thank God for that. I don't ever have to think about that again." And it was gone. That was it. And I loved looking in the mirror and going, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And this feels exactly the same. It doesn't ruin my life. It does affect my confidence in some in some ways that I don't particularly want to go on video for the world because I'm scared of the world's reaction to that. And I'm not sure I could deal with the comments if people talked about that. I don't know. Maybe I could now because maybe I feel a bit braver about the whole thing. Maybe I could just tell people to fuck off. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. It just feels, I think the pod hasn't changed me as a person. I'm the same person, but I'm a healthier person. I feel mentally healthier because I feel like this is the very last thing in my life that I have a problem with, and I need to either deal with it or it's not a problem, put it to bed, forget about it. It's one or the other. It's quite interesting that I don't know what the solution is going to be because I'm still waiting for some professional to tell me. But I feel better that, like, my friends have said they've not noticed it. That I go, well, perhaps it's not as bad as I thought it was. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Yeah. No, I just think it's. I feel like a different person in a lot of ways since we started the pod because I think it's like forced me to talk about things that I wouldn't normally, like even just the different stuff that I'm doing, different activities, all the like spiritual stuff that I'm doing. I wasn't always sharing that with everyone and anyone, really.
Yeah.
So I feel different because it's made me more comfortable with talking about that with anyone. Instead of like thinking, oh, well, they're not interested or they're going to think it's weird. So that's been really good because that makes me feel like really centered and like in alignment with myself, that I feel like I can talk about like every part of me and not just one part of me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is nice. Yeah. There's just so many levels of like therapy that this podcast has brought, which is so unexpected.
Yeah, and you're right. You wouldn't talk about a lot of this stuff in your day-to-day life. It's just not appropriate a lot of the time, is it? To dig as deep, like constantly. But because we do it, we've got this accountability of once a week. We talk about the deep stuff, the stuff that, I mean, this particular episode was supposed to be a birthday celebration and it's gone very, very deep very quickly. But if I feel like that and you feel like that about your thing and my thing, there must be loads of people out there that have got like an issue or something that they don't like about themselves, that actually once you open that Pandora's box, it isn't as scary as you think. I can't believe I'm now able to talk about this openly. Like, that in itself is such a big step forward. I've never been able to even get the words out before with my nearest and dearest. And now I'm saying it, well, let's face it, so God knows who. We don't know who listens to the pod, do we, really?
Yeah. No, it's a big step. It is. And I think hopefully, like people that listen, it will maybe make them think about an area of their life where they're playing small or feeling like they want to be small and they're scared of doing something about it. And I think if you can think about those areas and do the thing that scares you, like it's not going to be a pod for everyone, it's going to be, I don't know, going clothes shopping if you've avoided clothes shopping for the last 10 years, or, what is the area that you feel small in or you're shrinking yourself in? Like, maybe just challenge yourself a bit and do the scary thing because you just don't know what it's going to open up. And it might not open up something good and easy to begin with, but it'll open up something that needs dealing with and that will help you in the long run.
Yeah, and that also has a bit of a knock-on effect with everybody else, because had you not, I know you did it on the pod, but you could have quite easily had that conversation with me in our personal life, because you opened that, and actually maybe mainly because you did it on the pod and you said it first, and you talked about your darkest fear and what made you feel not powerful. That gave me the confidence then that I could talk about my thing. Like it took probably, I mean, I can't remember that episode, what episode it was, but it was a few back. It took me a while to build up to having a conversation with Amy, having a conversation with Ryan, having a conversation with you. And I did say I'd talk about it on the pod a couple of weeks ago, I think. And when it came down to it, I was just like, I'm not in the mood for this today. I wasn't feeling, we have days, don't we, where we feel on top of the world and really confident. And we have days where we're just like a hermit. And it must have been a hermit day. I just didn't want to put myself out there. But it feels quite, I couldn't talk about what we've learned from the pod without talking about that, because it's so recent, it's so raw still. It's something that I'm still working on, but I feel quite empowered that I'm able to do that. And if we can empower one listener to look at an area of their life and go, do you know what? I've never been happy with that, actually. And it feels a bit shit to think about it. So I've not thought about it. If that opens that, it does make you like healthier, mentally healthier. And if you then shared that journey, if a listener did that and shared that journey with one of their friends, you don't know the impact it'll have on that person either, because we've all got shit going on, haven't we? We've all got, I don't think anyone's fully 100% with who they are or where they've been, or we've all got stuff to work on. And this could be the start of it. We think this is like the big stuff. It might not be. This might just be the start of it, like more stuff and more stuff till you,
Exactly. You just never know. Once you like open yourself up to working on yourself, you don't know where it's going to take you. And
no, you don't.
That's the interesting thing about it, isn't it? Like I was listening to, we always mention this book, like Get Rich Lucky Bitch, yesterday, and it's probably like the third time I've listened to it, but it's the first time this year, and I feel like I'm getting different things. I feel like I'm a different person listening to that book now. Instead of thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm better with that, but still need to look at that. And I don't know, you just never know where it's going to take you, basically, do you? But it's worth doing the work. Definitely worth doing the work and stretching yourself and scaring yourself, like we've done with the pod, really.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where that takes us. I think for me, it will be something to do with work that will make, I don't know, if I saw a speech therapist and she said what you had all said, that would just be like, oh my God, it would be mic drop moment.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to tell us all what happens now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm not seeing it till, it's not this week because it's half term. Next week, next Tuesday. So a couple more episodes and I'll talk about it.
Yeah. So sorry it wasn't a celebratory episode, but tell us what has come up for you, maybe, if there's vulnerabilities and things that have sprung because of it, send us a direct message.
Yeah, and I think the outcome is celebratory, isn't it? I know we're both still working on stuff, but the fact that, well, for me, I'm working on something that I've kept so hidden for so long, that's like a real achievement. So that's definitely worth celebrating.
It is 100%. It is. Like, I'm so like proud of you, because I know it was hard enough to say in just a phone call with me, never mind on the pod. So yeah, it is worth celebrating.
And it's funny that the more you talk about something, the easier it becomes as well. Like, I'm talking about it now, fairly comfortably. I'm not really that bothered now.
So you're already having a breakthrough with it.
Yeah.
Well, you get your professional answer. Next up, the world, Louise, the world.
Talking of which, so I'm listening to a podcast about biohacking your health, because I'm trying to lose weight and I'm kind of doing it. So I'm eating the same foods because I eat quite healthy, but eating them in a different order. And I was listening to a really good podcast. So Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, was, what was the guy called? He was a doctor. He was
vegan guy.
No. Is he vegan? I don't know. Tim, I want to say
Tim Spector from Zoe.
No, Tim Spector. I listened to him last week.
I don't know.
Someone Yayo. Yayo. Asian name. Anyway, he was talking about what Tim Spector talks about, what Michael Mosley talks about, all the same arena. But what he was saying was we should follow religion. So religion teaches us to intermittently fast. There's loads of religions who do fasting. The word breakfast is to break your fast. So he was saying how modern medicine, modern GPs don't encourage fasting, but it's been happening for 2,000 years. We should be doing it. But then he said, and the other thing religion talks about, so if you take Christianity as an example, although it applies to every religion, they always meet. They have go to church on Sunday morning. Jews have the Friday, the family together on a Friday, eating together, breaking bread together. It's all about community, and that's really healthy and good for you. And that made me think about, you said, I think it was you, not me, we should make our own religion, which I still think we should do at some point. But I was thinking about, we've talked about doing a retreat and things like that, but what about a regular Sunday get-together with like-minded people of a place of worship to go to and talk about all things spiritual and all things manifesting and all things like personal development? How cool would that be? That you just had a drop in almost on a very regular basis. So yeah.
That would be amazing. It really would. And like you say, that religion thing for us is just like a space we can go to regularly and talk about all this stuff that we're interested in with like-minded people. And
we've got this. This is the pod is like our religion, that we do have this on a weekly basis that we can sit and chat, but it's just the two of us. But how nice would it be to go in a group setting and do that with loads of people? It would be amazing.
Yeah, it would, definitely. I do think something like that is on the cards for us, like whether we create it or we find something like that. If you just think of all the stuff that we're more interested in doing, even like the dancing stuff with the girls last weekend, we're just changing what we want to do and how we enjoy ourselves, aren't we? And
yeah, definitely
finding different spaces to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch
this space, everybody.
I know, exactly. Exciting. Well, happy birthday, the Manifestation Pod. Thank you for everything. Thank you, everyone, for listening all year. We're really close to 2,500 listens, so maybe the birthday episode will get us over that. That would be really nice, wouldn't it?
That would be exciting. And if you could follow the pod, if you don't already, because it makes a difference if you press the follow button, I've been told. So yeah, if you could do that, and if you could do share with anyone who you think might like it. I feel like our figures are dropping ever so slightly. Not sure why that is, but yeah, if you could like it and share it with like-minded people, that would be amazing. Reviews would also be amazing.
Yeah.
But I know they're a bit of a faff, but just press the follow button for now would be lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise Marshall. Please follow, subscribe, and rate our pod. Share with friends to support two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.